Let's begin. Today's October 28th, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's all-odd 5 criteria cards include 9, 11, 17, 19, and 21, and the puzzle uses the green verification cards. The code above is your way to get more information on today's puzzle by searching the code on turingmachine.info. Let's go solve. So in the grid above, we've got our 5 criteria cards. On the top row, we've got criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. On the bottom row, we've got criteria card D, and finally criteria card E. So criteria card A takes a look at our 3-digit solution, and the Turing Machine will let us know how many 3s there are. Are there no 3s? A single 3? Perhaps 2? Maybe even all 3 are 3. Criteria card B will take a look at our first 2 digits, triangle and square, and compare them. So should the value of triangle be less than square? Should they be equal? Or should the value of triangle be greater than square? Criteria card C, again, will take a look at our 3-digit solution, but this time it'll let us know how many evens there are. Are there no evens? Is there a single even? Maybe 2? Perhaps all 3 are even. Criteria card D will again take a look at our first 2 digits, triangle and square, but this time it'll add them together and compare that sum to the number 6. So should the sum be less than 6? Should it be equal to 6? Or should the sum be greater than 6? And finally, criteria card E, again, will take a look at our 3-digit solution, but this time it'll let us know a little bit about its structure, so to speak. Specifically, it can tell us whether there is a pair in our solution, as in the example 131, or alternatively, there is no pair, but there are 2 scenarios. One where all the digits are different, as in the example 134, or all the digits are the same, as in the example 222. And remember, the objective of today's puzzle is to find that unique 3-digit code that abides by all of the 5 criteria cards we just described. And we're going to start off with an initial proposal of 314. So I think the first thing that I'd like to test is criteria card E. Okay, so the Turing Machine does not approve of my choice. Notice that I do have 314. Those are all distinct digits, meaning there is no pair. But the fact that the Turing Machine does not approve of that means that no pairs is invalid. Thus, we conclude that there has to be a pair in our solution. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section E. And we'll say that the solution has a pair. Okay, so we are looking for 2 of a kind and then some other digit. Now we do have, obviously, criteria card B that compares the first 2 digits. There is an equals. That could be a possibility. And obviously having either 2 evens or maybe even 2 3s. Those are all possibilities. But I think I'm going to test criteria card D. Okay, so the Turing Machine does not approve of my choice. Notice that my triangle digit is 3 and my square digit is 1. That sum is 4, and 4 less than 6 is not valid. So that means that the sum of triangle and square must either be equal to 6 or greater than 6. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section D. And again, we'll say that triangle plus square must be either equal to or greater than 6. And can we actually, cross out anything with that information? Well, it's kind of hard since we do have that equals We can't cross out a 1 because you can always add it to 5, and then, everything in between. So I don't see any possibility to cross out anything at this point. Okay, so let's see. Obviously, we either have, well, I was going to say we could have a pair of evens or a pair of odds. It's hard to tell at this point. Wonder if it's worth testing criteria card B. Both B and D are using the same 2 digits, triangle and square. If those are equal, let's see, if those are equal, what would that mean for circle? Because notice that there is no mentioning of circle in any of our criteria cards. So it's going to be forced into something. It could be either an even or an odd. It could be that triangle and square might be both odd. And at this point, it could either be 3, 3 or 5, 5 if they were odd. And then, of course, the sum would distinguish between them. It's either 6 or greater than 6. And there could be a single even. And yeah, so, well, let's see. Could it be, if they were to be equal, maybe instead it could be that the sum, excuse me, maybe there are 2 evens, and then this would be an odd. And it could be something like 4, 4, either 1 or 3, where it's less than. And it could be a 3 or not a 3. Yeah, that could be a possibility. So let's see, what would be the best thing to test to lead us to the second round? Number of evens or number of threes, or the comparison. So currently I do have a square value that's less than my circle. If it's what I'm thinking that it might be 4, 4, 1, or 3, obviously it would be wrong if that's the case. So it's either going to be equal to or less than. Or sorry, square should be greater than. Well, let's go ahead and test criteria card B. Okay, so yeah, that is also incorrect. As I stated, my square is less than circle. That's invalid. So square should either be equal to or greater than. Oh, wait. Why am I looking at circle? Whoa, that was a big mistake. No, so I should be looking at triangle and square. So it is not the case my triangle is greater than square. That is not the case since the Turing machine does not agree with it. So that means that triangle is either equal to square or less than square. So we'll type in the less than first, since that's what it comes from left to right. Okay, so that was close. So let's go ahead and type it up, and we'll say that triangle should either be less than or equal to square. Okay, so let's just verify that really quick. Yeah, triangle should not be greater than square since it failed. Okay, so can we say anything about that? Well, again, unfortunately, because of the equal, anything's possible. 1 could be equal to itself, 5 could be equal to itself. And then, of course, there are lots of triangle values that are less than square. So, wow, surprisingly, we have crossed out nothing in this round. And technically, we still have B and D sort of up in the air. We don't know quite what to pick. Well, that does it for this round. We did complete our 3 Turing tests. Now we're going into the phase where we'll be discussing how to construct a good second round proposal. So notice we did not test criteria card A, the number of threes. It's still an open question about criteria card B. We also did not test the number of evens in our solution. And of course, criteria card D is also up in the air. So, yeah, wow. So even though we've narrowed down B and D, it did not allow us to cross out anything. But I did mention an interesting scenario, and that was potentially that they are equal 4, 4, and then possibly 1 and 3 for circle. So, anything is possible, but let's go ahead and try that out. So I'm going to say 4, 4, 3, let me think about this. Do I want a 3 or do I want to have a 1? Let's do 4, 4, 3. Okay, so, wow. Obviously, I don't want to retest some of these criteria cards. I don't know if we'll be able to deduce many of them, but let's go ahead and test criteria card C. Well, let's see. If we do that, I do have 2 evens. Would that narrow it down? Maybe, maybe not. Let's go ahead and test it all the same. Okay, yes, there are 2 evens, but even then, that really does not really allow us to cross out anything. We'll just type it up as the solution has 2 evens, and obviously 1 odd. So there is a possibility where it could be even, even, odd, or even, odd, even, or odd, even, even. Anything is possible. Let's see. So B and D are both. Oh, yeah. And I was just thinking about criteria card B. Could they be equal? So we know if they are equal, then our choices are 3, 3, 4, 4, and 5, 5. And then obviously what would distinguish them would be, in part, is the sum greater or equal to 6? And then, of course, the number of threes. So I do have a single 3. Okay, so the fact that we have 2 evens means we only have 1 odd. And if I test criteria card A, it's either there is a 3 or there isn't. So there can't be 2, and obviously there can't be 3. So at least that would enable us to narrow it down. So let's go ahead and test criteria card A. Okay, so it does like the fact that there's a 3. Okay, so there is a single 3, so that means that there are no 1s or 5s. So at least we can cross those out in all of triangle, square, and circle. No 1s or 5s, since it does approve of a single 3. And I'll type up in a second the fact that there is a single 3 in our solution. And remember, that means that we do have a pair of evens. Yeah, I think I probably didn't state it, but that should have been obvious. Yeah, since we do have 2 evens, that's our pair. So I think we have enough to maybe even exclude all 2s. Let me just, went too far. So, okay, so can we have a pair of 2s? Well, we have 2 evens and an odd. So if I think of all the possibilities where I have a pair of 2s, so it could be that it's 2, 2, but that fails criteria card D, the sum needing to be equal to 6. So that can't happen. Can it instead be 2, 3, 2? Well, again, 2, 3 is less than 6, and so is 3, 2, 2. So, yeah, we can also exclude the 2s from all our digits, because the combination of a 2 and a 3 in all the 3 different orderings fail to give us a sum that's equal to or greater. Okay, so now it boils down to, where is the 3? So the best case, so I think we're safe to deduce that the sum should be greater than, because in all, again, orderings, whether there's a 3 and a 4 or 2 4s, those sums are all greater. So we're able to deduce that it should be, the sum should be greater than 6. Okay, and yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Let me just cross this out. I'll say that the sum is greater than 6, and I'll just put a note here, deduced. Okay, and oh yeah, I forgot to add the note for section A, that the solution has a single 3-digit. Okay, and so I think the best bet would be to test criteria card B. That makes the most sense. I don't think I can deduce it, right? Because you could have a 3 and a 4 in both triangle and square. Let's see. Yeah, they could be equal, meaning they're both 4, so it'd be 4, 4, 3. That's possible. Oh, there may be one potential, but I don't know if that would help us any. Obviously, triangle, let's see, what failed? That was criteria card B. It failed to be that triangle should be greater. So let's see, maybe we can deduce it. Yeah, I don't think four. Actually, yeah, I think we can deduce it. I don't think triangle could be four, right? Because four. Well, oh no, no, no. I think the only thing we can say is that triangle. Well, yeah, maybe triangle. Can it be four? Yeah, it can be four because of the equals. Yeah, we can't. I don't think we can cross out anything because triangle could be four and square could be four, forcing circle to be three. You know what? Let me list them out. So let me go with the least possible solution, and that's 3, 4, 4. And then it's going to be 4, 3, 4. And then 4, 4, 3. So yeah, the 3's either in the first place, second, or third. Okay, so based on criteria card B, I should be able to cross out something. And that is that triangle cannot be greater than square. So that means it cannot be 4, 3, 4. That breaks criteria card B. Is that correct? Yeah. It's either less or equal, yeah. So, but that in itself does not allow us to cross out triangle 4, right? Because we do have a viable solution where triangle is 4. So yeah, we can just eliminate it. But again, let's just go ahead and test B again. Okay, so it is not the case that they should be equal, right? I have triangle and square being equal. The Turing machine does not approve of that. So let me go ahead and cross out the equal. That is incorrect. So triangle needs to be smaller than square. So that means it's got to be 3, 4, 4. So let me go ahead and cross out this. Oops. There we go. So it looks like our solution should be 3, 4, 4. So let me go ahead and cross out this 4. And let me cross out these 3's. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably a little better. Okay, so let's type it up, and I do want to review it just in case. All right, so 3, 4, 4. The solution has a single 3. It sure does. Is the first digit less than the second? Yes, triangle is less than square. 3 is less than 4. I have 2 evens. The sum is greater than 6 of the first 2 digits. It is. And we have a pair. Well, it looks like a winner. So let's go ahead and verify. And that was 3, 4, 4. 3, 4, 4. Okay, fantastic. Now, how do we do versus the Turing machine? Well, let's go back. So we did start off, obviously, with a puzzle with 5 criteria cards, and we did 6 tests. Not ideal, but let's see how we did. In the first round, we had all X's in B, D, E. And then in the second round, we did A, B, C. And B was incorrect twice. So let's go ahead and type that up, B, D, E. So B, D, E were all incorrect. A was correct, B again was incorrect, and C was correct. Okay, well, this is a somewhat of a relief in some sense. We did beat it by 1 question. Now remember, we started off the second round not only with 3 X's and nothing crossed out, but it did kind of help us in in sort of narrowing it down. And we did talk through, I think after we tested, what was it? I guess C, the number of evens. Is that correct? I don't remember what we tested first in the second round, but we were able to eliminate all the, I think it was the number of threes, in fact. Well, I'm not sure what was first, but I think it was the number of threes or the number of evens. I already forgot, I'll be honest. But I do remember we crossed out all the ones, all the fives, and even the twos, allowing us. And it could have been maybe a combination of criteria cards. But yeah, this, I will admit, this felt quite different. Perhaps maybe because of the set of criteria cards in this puzzle. It just felt a little unorthodox for me, the way I approached it. I'm not used to having, normally there's always one criteria card, either for triangle, square, or circle, that lets you know it's even or odd. That's always my go-to. Here, yeah, it was quite different. But still, it was a win, and I really feel great because I felt a little challenged. So, and hopefully you did too. Now, what about you? How did you solve it? What criteria cards did you choose? What order did you pick them in? And did you see something interesting that you'd like to share? Add your thoughts to the comments. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up so that more people can find the channel. And of course, if you don't want to miss out on any videos, hit subscribe to be notified. Well, until next time, have a great one.